Product of Italy. I guess this is it. And tomato paste. Alright, well, let's get something cooking. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be making this refreshing Italian-inspired marinara sauce with fresh veggies, ground turkey, lots of tomatoes, and aromatic herbs. It is hearty, healthy, and wonderfully delicious. Combining with a low-carb shirataki noodle, this marinara sauce makes the perfect lunch or dinner that will satisfy your pasta craving without the extra calorie or the high-carb guilt. If you're new to my channel, big welcome to you. Please like and subscribe. Every week we'll be making healthy and delicious meal prep or desserts for a leaner, healthier lifestyle. For a detailed recipe about this particular video, please visit the description box below or at my website, let'sgetcooking.com. Alright, without further ado, let's get cooking. So to start today's Shirataki, Italian-inspired marinara shirataki, here are the ingredients that you need. First of all, we'll start with a bulb of garlic, a half bag of carrots, a medium-sized onion, 2 cans of peeled canned tomatoes. So I found these canned tomato product from Italy. Yeah, product of Italy. I was super stoked when I saw these in my local grocery store, also the tomato paste. But if you can find these at your local grocery store, the more commonly available brand work just fine. I've used just the tomato paste and the diced tomato products as shown here before, and the marinara sauce turned out perfectly fine. So all you'll need is the tomato paste, a can of the diced tomato, preferably peeled. It just helps with the texture so much better. And also another can of the diced tomato, but seasoned with basil, garlic, and oregano, and you are good to go. So don't fuss too much, stress over about the tomato products. And of course you need oregano, fresh basil, salt, pepper, and red chili flakes for extra heat. And for the meat part, we're going to use ground turkey today, just for a healthier meat alternative. And last but not least, our shirataki noodle. So you know the drill with the shirataki noodle. You want to release them from the package, drain them from the packaging liquid, and then rinse them really well with tap water. Here I'm just showing you with the jar of water, but you do want to rinse them under tap water. Leave it on the strainer to drain, and you're good for the next step. And start with preparing our garlics. I have lots of garlic right here. I mean, a garlic lover, you definitely don't have to use as much garlic as I do. So if you want to use just half a bulb, that's fine. But for me, I do enjoy them. So here we are working with the onion. So you want to cut it in half, peel it, and then just dice them up really finely to smaller pieces. I like to, you saw me cut it in so lengthwise to kind of like to thin strip, but don't break them apart. Just here, kind of like just right here, you see how I'm dicing them to the thin strip. Towards the end, I like to flip the little piece around so I don't cut my hand. Just continue going across until all the onions are sliced, and then I'll cut them kind of like halfway to smaller thinner strips, and then cut them down to finely diced. And I'll rotate the onion around so I will avoid cutting my hand. And just continue until all the onions are chopped. And set them aside, and you're ready for the next veggie, which is our carrots. So here I'm using just half a bag of baby carrots. It's kind of hard to finely dice them. I really wish I minced them, but really it doesn't matter. And here I'm just firing up the stove. Grab a heavy-duty pot, and throwing our turkey, and we are ready to saute. Now, it's perfectly fine to use a little bit of the olive oil. I kind of wish I did, but for the most part, the ground meat tends to have more fat in them, so I tend to just saute them as is without any oil. But you do want to season them really well, so you saw me do salt and pepper, and here I'm just shaking in the oregano. Oregano is definitely the base, like the very important base flavor of marinara, so definitely highly recommend. You kind of have to get the oregano. So here I'm just going through my meats, breaking them up down to smaller pieces, saute until they're fully cooked, and set them aside, reserve for later. Here I'm just adding a little splash of oil to help my veggie, just to sweat them a little bit. Dump in my carrots, my onions, give them a quick saute until they become translucent, and then after that, then I add my tons and tons of garlic. I don't really like to add garlic too early on because there is a possibility that they might burn. But either way, you want to sweat and saute all the veggies, and then definitely season them with our usual, so our salt, pepper, and the oregano. Give them a quick mix, saute. And here I'm adding the tomato paste. It's really nice that it comes in a tube like this. That way, if you don't use up the whole thing, which more than likely you're not going to use up the whole thing, you can just put it back in the fridge. There's about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half, just until all the veggies are coated. And then you want to add in the canned peeled tomato. I'm just adding a little extra water just to rinse out all the goodness of the sauces. And I use my wooden spoon or spatula. I'm just gonna break down any of the big tomato chunks and season with salt, pepper, oregano, and garlic powder. Yes, garlic powder, can't be too garlic, not in my book anyway. Alright, give it a quick mix, make sure everything is thoroughly combined. And then here I have a bunch of fresh basil, lovely, and then just add that in. Make sure the flavor is infused with the sauce, and cover, simmer for, I say, an hour. So after that, you want to add in the ground turkey back. The reason why I don't, and then you want to simmer uncover for another 30 minutes. The reason why I don't add the meat for the whole simmering process, because turkey is a really lean meat. Had I used something that's much fattier, I think that would have worked. But I just didn't want to risk it become like further dry out, which in my case it worked out perfectly. Just basically leave it simmer uncovered for another hour. So yeah, after about an hour and a half, you're ready to assemble. So here, just our lovely snow white shirataki noodle. Just want to plate it in our plates, and then get a heaping scoop of our lovely sauce, our delicious marinara sauce. Oh, look at that, it's so luscious. So delicious. To be a little fancy, you can add some chopped basil. I just put a little, kind of like another spring of basil on top, and yeah, there you have it. Fresh, refreshing, delicious, Italian-inspired marinara sauce with fresh veggie, lots of tomato, and aromatic herbs on top of low-carb shirataki noodle. I really, really do hope you give this a try. So a lot of time. So if you're not very familiar with shirataki noodle, so essentially the texture that most people would describe it is very close to an al dente pasta. It's very toothy, has really good texture. It's not mushy at all, even though it seems like a lot of water, because shirataki noodle, it's basically mainly consists of water. So it's a soluble fiber and lots of water. So it doesn't really absorb sauces like like a normal egg noodle would. However, if you just make sure that each bite that you have with the noodle is combined with a good helping of the sauce, the meat sauce, it will work just fine. And also another thing about the shirataki noodle is that it's very long noodle, as you can see here, so feel free to cut it up with some kitchen scissors. For me, I just cut it down with my fork, and that worked just fine. So yeah, make sure that you get every bite, get a good helping of your meat sauce, and you're good to go. So this really is a very good alternative way to enjoy pasta without having to be so concerned about all the carbohydrates. We all like to enjoy our pasta every once in a while. It is definitely a comfort food, but we don't have to suffer the collateral damage from all the carbohydrates from the noodle, definitely. And of course, in this dish, I'm keeping it very simple, very lean. Feel free to swap out the turkey for, say, ground beef. Feel free to add a little shake of, say, a grounded Parmigiano Reggiano or mozzarella. That will definitely work very, very well with this pasta. For today, I'm just keeping it really lean. For the leaner version, if you will. But yeah, I really do hope you give this a try. Let me know in the comment down below how you like it. And also, to continue with our Shirataki series, I'm going to try different like country or culture inspired dishes. So let me know in the comment down below, what do you want to see me try, say like a Japanese tonkatsu inspired Shirataki maybe, or maybe like a Chinese chow mein inspired Shirataki. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers!